Miss Solid Waste District, from one of you been nominated to do that.
You do a really good job.
Microphone's on.
That's all I got to do.
Okay, we'll go ahead and bring this city council meeting to order. I'd like to first ask everyone to stand and join the recital of Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Aaron, could you please do roll call?
Sure. Jenny Bauer-Schultz.
Here.
Matt Dyer.
Here.
Tyler Fullenkamp.
Here.
Scott Murray.
Here.
Abby Wilder.
He's absent. Okay. Okay, was everyone given a chance to review the minutes from the meeting held on July 1st? Any corrections, deletions, additions?
Make a motion to accept them as emailed.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Jamie, I think you have the street closings or event applications, I guess?
I have two street closure applications. So the first one is Saturday, August 30th, and that is on Schermeyer Street for their block party that they have every year. That's the 700 to 800 block of Schermeyer. Again, it's Saturday, August 30th. They'll start setting up at 11 a.m. and the event time is from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And they have their signatures necessary.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Okay, and then I have one more, and that is for the St. Mary's Fall Fest. That event is Saturday, September 13th and Sunday, September 14th. The street closure is for Sunday, September 14th, and that is 6 a.m. until 5 p.m.
5th Street.
Oh yeah, so it's 5th Street between Monroe and Madison.
Yeah.
Pretty critical part of it. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Do you want to stay up here for the Merit Center cleaning? I think we have to scan. That's on the agenda, right? Still discuss that?
Well, and Abby's not here.
Oh, and Abby actually had that info from the Merit Board.
Yeah.
So we had talked about last time, at the last meeting, right? What the Merit Board had suggested. I don't know if anything's happened since then.
No, but I think we were going to determine what we were going to do moving forward with that position, with that cleaning position, so we could budget that in, especially for next year. I think it was 23 hours at $30 an hour.
Yes.
Is what was approved, but she also wanted to work a little extra maybe in the winter.
That's what she had said. In the winter, the floors is a lot more used from people walking.
I think were we gonna look at like contracts or something with renters of if we do have the ability to maybe adjust rates? Does that sound right?
And I did review contracts for King's Kingdom. The two probably most frequent travelers or users of the space would be King's Kingdom and Council on Aging. Council on Aging's lease is a long-term lease for 20 years, and the city is responsible for common areas. So that one isn't necessarily, we'd need to get creative with that.
So cities,
King's Kingdom is, go ahead.
the city's responsible for common areas, but would the senior center be a common area? And that's actually a room, right?
They don't lease, they don't pay rent for that. So the rented space that Council on Aging uses, they provide their own cleaning services, but
Always. Because I think she spends a few hours a week in there.
She does in the senior center space. So is that counted as a common area, or is it not? I mean, it's their space throughout the week, like they're the only ones that are using it.
Right.
We are able to rent it out on
I mean, cause that would be some savings if she didn't have to spend $3 in there a week.
Yeah.
Also, if it gets too expensive to mop the floors, maybe we don't have walkers. It's unfortunate, but,
Right.
or have the walkers be the
Right, I
moppers.
mean, it's, it's a big expense for cleaning that place.
It is.
In King's Kingdom, they handle cleaning services for their leased space. Again, the city is responsible for common areas, and their lease does specifically say that the city will handle cleaning the gym. Their contract is good through 2026. The positive side with their lease is they had a staggered rate increase when we entered into it a couple of years ago, and in August their rent does jump pretty significantly. I'm not sure that it offsets, the budget increase necessary for the cleaning services, but
And that's August of next year, right? Or is that this, I think that's next August that increase happens, unless they get that.
their
Full
I thought
capacity.
they were filling their fourth room. Close.
I reached out and they told me they were not at that capacity,
Okay.
Of course.
but that they thought it would happen before their deadline,
Okay.
Which is next August.
which is next August.
Okay.
It could happen before then, but
So no rate increase.
currently, nothing
Yeah.
happening until they get to that
Okay.
point.
That fourth room.
Okay.
Is that contract up at next August now? With King's Kingdom, like,
I think there would be able to be changes
To the
made
contract.
and resigning at that,
Right.
yeah.
I'm pulling their lease up.
30 hours just seems like a lot, but I guess I don't know what she does there.
23 hours. 23
23
hours
hours.
a week.
$30 an hour,
$30 an hour. So that's $690 a week.
just to
Times
compare,
52, that's $35,880.
what do we pay
And
the
we were
cleaners of
budgeted
this
for
building?
12,000.
Is it per hour?
Sorry?
The cleaners of this facility, is it $30 an hour?
I think it's a monthly.
I'd have to look at
I think they're
theirs.
on a monthly, fee. I think.
Do we have any idea how many people come and walk there, especially in the winter?
I don't have the numbers on me now, but I know last year there was 5,000 people throughout the whole year that walked. And that could be the same people, but they sign in every time they come and they let them know like what they're doing, there's a sign-in sheet. So throughout the whole year, there was 5,000 walkers.
At $35,000 a year, would it be in the city's best interest to subcontract that cleaning out to a cleaning service twice a week? I mean, I think we went around with this one other time. Maybe it was there or it was here. But
I know we changed here when the second floor was added. And it was gonna be okay, then the cleaners wanted double, because it's twice the space, but that wasn't used nearly as much.
Just to clarify on King's Kingdom, so they had a staggered rate increase for rent, and it does change after 24 months. So their rent does go up in August.
This August.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So they had the option of either 24 months or
We're at full capacity.
full capacity or 24 months, but the last year of the term of their lease, and their lease expires at the end of July of 26.
Okay.
So we'll at least get a little bit additional rent from them this coming year. and then after next year, terms could be negotiated that could help maybe subsidize some of the additional cleaning requirements.
Is she being paid as an employee or a subcontractor?
Just professional services. She's not an employee.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's like a standard kind of market rate, or that's just her personal rate, or comparable, you know?
I would think that's pretty competitive. I think it's just more, is there really a need for 23 hours a week? I mean, how much do those hallways really need to be mopped with that machine? I mean, cause how many times is she doing them?
She's doing half of the hallways one day, half of the hallways the other days, and then just maintenance throughout the week, on where's needed. I know, like, the bathrooms need cleaned daily because they get used and they get very dirty, so she's in there multiple times a day, some days, but
Well, I know, Jamie, you had said that visitors, renters have been very pleased with her performance and everything, so I don't wanna,
Tick
you
her
know.
off.
Right,
Right,
I don't
no,
wanna, I don't wanna overlook that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think she's doing a good job.
She's
Right.
been great to work with, everybody, and that's from everybody that's there too, all of the tenants, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big building too.
It is.
I mean, I don't know what we can even do about existing contracts. We can't really do anything with them, right? As far as, you have to wait until they're expired before we, like, reevaluate. Maybe King's Kingdom does cleaning of the gym themselves, or, you know, there's nothing we can really do about the contracts now, correct?
Correct. So,
I think there's still a question over the senior center, whether it's a common area or it's actually a
Oh.
room that, cause I mean, they have the only access to that room 5
During
days
the
a week.
week.
To me, that makes it not a common area.
Yeah. Yeah, like our walkers using that area during the week. Likely not, because the seniors are using it.
Most of
Correct.
the walkers are seniors.
Oh.
Right. And do you know what, I mean, is she cleaning the windows in there or just tabletops or what?
I'm really not sure. I know she's, like, it's every day there's an event going on, so she has to be in there most days. I don't know what all she's cleaning in there, but they do have a bathroom in there too that she's taking care of.
Have we asked Council on Aging if they had any money budgeted to help with the cleaning?
I reached out to Michelle and I asked her if she had any ideas, and I just let her know one of the ideas being thrown around was maybe putting some sort of cleaning service into it. She's been really busy trying to fundraise for the courtyard project that she's got going on, so I haven't been able to talk to her much since then.
how much does the city, contribute toward Council on Aging? I mean, the city makes a contribution to their budget each year. Maybe that's reduced in future years to account for additional cleaning services necessary
Right.
for shared space. So if it's not something that is rentable, there are other considerations to think about.
Maybe the seniors themselves would even be willing just to, I mean, for real, they use the space and, you know,
I mean, if you look at it, it's almost $5,000 a year just in that room.
yeah.
I mean, that was to clean that room, and there's people in there every day.
And it is too, like, there's so many in there. I remember the day I did bingo, I was like, I can't believe there's like 40 people here. So,
You're right though, if mentioned, maybe one of them would say, you know, while my wife's walking, I'm gonna clean. they'd love it.
Okay,
I
do
don't
we
know.
keep on, do we kick this can down the road, or
The
what?
bid goes on.
I just think we need to decide what we wanna, how many hours, how much we wanna spend.
I think right now we need to cap it at so many hours
That's
because
what I
we only have so
think
much
so
money.
too.
Right.
Exactly, and we need to decide what do we wanna spend. Do we wanna cap it at that 23, even during the winter months? And that's
Until
still
some
a
new
30.
contracts come up and we can generate more money to pay for more cleaning, I don't know.
Now that's just over 35 a year. I mean, and we were budgeted for 12. Do we wanna pay that extra? That's just kinda what I need. I just need to know what we wanna spend.
And is that for the remainder of this fiscal year?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to transfer funds just to cover, because she was working 35 hours every, yeah, and that was gonna be like 52,000. And we couldn't do that. So that's how this all started.
How many hours was the previous cleaning person?
She was scheduled for the same amount of hours, but
Oh.
wasn't ever able to do it that many hours, just with different medical issues
Yeah.
and things she had going on. So I would guess less than 20 hours.
Well, in 23, we paid $9,291.25 for the same services. I mean, obviously, a lot less
Yeah.
time spent there. And in 24, it was just under 12,000. That's the reason it was only budgeted for the 12,000.
At the same rate.
Was,
20?
I don't recall what I don't know what that rate was.
It was a couple dollars. I think it was $26 or $27 an hour. It wasn't $30 an hour. That happened whenever it got switched to the current one.
But the rate wasn't the difference, it was way less
It
hours.
was the hours. In 22, there wasn't really anything happening in that
Activity
space.
like there is now.
Yeah.
Right.
The activity's increased.
I would like to
Yeah.
think that 20 hours a week would get it done.
20. I know, I was like, I'd like to find like a middle ground of hours and then we just come up with the rest of the money somewhere to cover it for the year. But I don't know, what's an adequate amount of hours to clean
You're
it?
on the board, you're in the building. Is 20 hours enough? Does it need 25 hours?
Well, I'll just say whenever I was talking to Lynn about it and I had her map out everything that she does daily, weekly, like how it looks, she had said she didn't think she could get it done adequately with less than 23. It's definitely used a lot. I know she's gotta spend a lot of time in the bathrooms. There's 3 different sets of them, but they just need cleaned frequently. The hallways I don't think probably need cleaned as much as in the summer. But with the use in the gym and different, we have had more rentals in there, so she's gotta kinda change her hours to be there on Fridays to make sure it's clean after the daycare's done using it. Just different things like that. I would say 20, 23-ish. But I don't know, it's not.
Mm, 20.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we have her just clean for 20 hours. We see where it goes, you know, if it's enough, great. If not, then again, it's something that we need to revisit.
First of the year.
Yeah.
Or when contracts come up and we have the ability to generate more funds for cleaning.
Yeah.
I'll second Jenny's motion.
And 20 hours is going to be the max, correct?
For the
30.
remainder of the year.
Even for the remainder of the year.
At
Okay.
$30 an hour. And again, thank her for the great job everybody says she's doing, so.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Why am I saying aye? Opposed, same sign? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I Within their lease, Jamie,
Yeah.
Council on Aging has non-exclusive use. Non-exclusive use of the courtyard and library. So those would definitely be considered common areas.
Okay.
And it also means anybody utilizing Merit Center has the right to go into that space.
Okay. That does make a difference.
That contract might need to be revisited because it's different than when it was, I mean, I know it was a long-term lease, but isn't there a way to mutually agree on a new lease?
Without question, they may, with the additions and improvements that have been made,
Right.
they may want that to stay a little bit more protected.
And with a fee to help cover the cost of cleaning.
Right.
It might
Possibly.
need to be a conversation with council on aging, like,
Yeah,
this has evolved from what it was before, but you're gonna, might have to pay a little bit more for rent to use the place.
Right.
To help cover the cost of some of this.
sure.
Right. Okay. Do you have anything else, Aaron?
No.
Did you? Anything else?
She's ready to go.
I think it was that issue.
Do we need to figure out where we're gonna get the rest of the money to cover at this point, or no? Okay,
No, not yet.
okay.
Okay. Department heads. Jeremy.
Roundabout project, stalled just a little bit, but it will pick up again this week. You will see, potentially a tremendous amount of work get, completed in the next, 7 to 10 days, so. Contractor needed to finish up on a couple other things before they totally committed to coming here and staying. Weather permitting, they will be here Thursday. They will work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or not Sunday, but Monday and Tuesday, for the initial concrete. And then start getting things lined up to work more towards the finishes, so. Once they get here, it should move very fast. So that would be a good sign, and we can get that one completed. On 24-2, or excuse me, 24-2 in the community crossings project. Sidewalks have been completed. We'll meet with them, Thursday at 11:30 to start coordinating the milling and the paving. We still don't have a date for sure, but we're gonna go through that and some little additional repairs that we need them to make, on this project, so. Should have more information coming shortly. I will email you guys schedules as I have them, on both projects, on the roundabout and the community crossings.
Thanks. Kevin G. Fresh off of vacation. Anything?
Had some good news from Officer Vestison, upon my return, he's gonna return to the road this Sunday, so.
Great.
Get back to it, he's doing really, really good, so a lot of prayers on that issue.
Okay.
Great.
I had the chance to see both of our chiefs at the, well, I didn't see one, I know he was there, but at the air show this weekend. If anyone had a chance to go, it was a great air show, but Jeff and his staff represented us very well up there, helping, both days, right? So, thanks for doing that. Anything else, Jeff?
Nope,
Kurt? Aaron? Bill? Jamie? Brad, anything? Anything from council?
In regards to the roundabout, I know the mayor's been approached, I've been approached as well from a few different citizens with questions, what goes in the middle of the roundabout. And, I thought the mayor had a great point when I had a discussion with him. We'd kinda like to see what it looks like a little more complete before that determination is made. So, it's not just nothing, but even one citizen offered to put up some money to help put what he thought would be a neat feature, but is that a statue, is that a flag, is that I don't know. That's,
So, let me make one comment on
Yeah.
that. I know a lot of other cities said if you do, right now the drawings just have plants, flowers, inside the center. Jeremy and I have been talking with the engineers about possibly putting a pad there that could hold something. the problem with a statue, and I know what you're talking about, is in the middle of a roundabout, you don't want something that has detail or is too small because people want to walk in there and see it, and we don't want people walking into the middle of the roundabout. So I've been told by other cities, if you're going to have something that needs to be a big flagpole or a great big sculpture with no detail, or you'll have people walking out there, and you don't want them walking out in the middle of that.
Sure.
In that design, Matt, they did, make pads off the side on the sidewalks,
Yes.
to try to prohibit people just walking out there, because you won't have a sidewalk, like Dan said, going out there. It's new traffic, it's new traffic flow. We need to kind of think about what's gonna go there.
Sure.
So we don't cause pedestrian accidents,
In,
people getting run over out there.
I think there's, is it 4-ish maybe pads? There are some sculpture pads, like so, the islands, like where your streets come together, and there's islands with bushes and things around it. There are sculpture pads in those, like 4 different areas. So
Sure.
one of those might be a good spot for what he's talking about.
So it is being incorporated in the design.
Yes,
Yep.
there are sculpture pads, just not in the center. And we're talking about putting something, but again, with like a flag would look great. I would love to see a flag, but that's gonna have to be put up and down after they have to go to half staff. So somebody's gonna have to go down there, put
What
that
about
flag.
the City of Decatur flag?
A city of Decatur flag only would be okay, but I think that's still supposed to go down.
Is it? I don't know the flag rules.
Give it about a week,
But again, right now, we just have rocks. We're still getting there.
All right.
give it about a week, and you will see the actual circle, and see the islands and stuff go in there. And then you can have a better idea of how everything's gonna lay out. Because the circle will be the first thing they start on Thursday, so the circle will be done by the weekend. And you have a good idea of what it's gonna look like.
Yep.
Good.
Then we can revisit it in a few weeks.
Good. Thank you. That's it.
Anything else from council?
I know there was questions about the company that we hired for the community crossings grant. I had a great experience with them the whole time. I'd go out there and talk to them. They didn't speak English, but it was fine. A couple of them did. They were out there.
At
I'd
night
go to,
sometimes.
I'd go to work, they would be out there. I'd come home from work, they'd be out there. I'd go to bed, they'd be out there.
Yeah, I saw them after 8 o'clock one night when I was just passing through that area.
So
Yeah.
they did things a little differently than we were used to, but they're very nice and they did the work.
It looks like the finished product's pretty good on the sidewalks down there, I think.
Very, very nice.
Thanks, Scott. Anything else? Anything from the public? We have a couple here from the public. Jim?
I just wanted to tell our fire chief that a picture of his fire crew spraying the guys, or the kids in the pool made it in the bird paper. I was in Jamie's office, and I was asking her a very important question, and she rudely interrupted and said, "I gotta go, Jim, you're out of here, I'm going over the pool." And so I followed her over here, it came out pretty good, so your guys are on top of that thing in the bird paper.
The good thing is we got the mayor up there too.
What's that?
We got the mayor up in the bucket too. so-
Yeah.
The good thing was the bucket held us both. That was a good thing.
Right,
Yeah.
When it started bouncing, I was a little nervous.
No, it's an awesome idea. You guys had it. The kids love it. I think, how long you guys were spraying for? Maybe half an hour or so?
Yeah, another half hour.
But the kids did love it, so cool. Thanks for doing that.
Pretty cool, it came out pretty good.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I wouldn't have known had Jamie not kicked me out.
All right. Well, good for. Thanks, Jamie. Okay. Anything else from public?
Make a motion to pay the claims.
Second.
Motion and second to pay the claims. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.
And a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.